No, you're fine.
I'm sorry.
What the hell? Sorry, I'm watching footage of the Black Bottom dance, and it's a thing.
I'm going to just leave all this in.
Welcome, everyone.
Hello and welcome to the Legends of Tabletop podcast. We are starting we're saying a mini campaign for COREthulhu because we never actually ran a full long-term playtest to make sure that all the shit worked. And I have tentatively begun to work on version 3, which is going to be a full book powered by Core. So we're going to get to it and see how all the shit fits together and make sure that it actually works the way that it's supposed to, because who the hell knows? Hey, Nick, what's going on? We got Nick in his house tonight.
Wow.
No.
Hey, producer, can we cut that?
Guy with a big hook. Hold on. All right, so tonight we're going to be recording our session 0. We did a bunch of stuff prior to this, and we didn't record it because I'm bad at this after 8 years. So we're going to try to recreate some of the magic for you folks. And then maybe start play tonight. Who the hell knows? It's a thing. We're doing podcast stuff. It's whatever. Kevin, take it away.
Okay. So the setting, we said you're in Buffalo, New York. It is the winter of 1923. Yeah, 1923, we said. And let's say the date is December 14th, 1923. So that's kind of the area and time that we're going to be in. So I think we were chatting about each of the characters and their names. So it'd probably be good just to go through that again, because there was some good stuff for that. So we'll start with, let me go from my screen. We'll go with John Alpha first. Just give your character name and a little bit about them.
All right. My name is Leonard Walcott. He is a grifter / charlatan. He's a fake psychic. So he's out making his money, essentially lying to people and preying on their, weaknesses. Because he's a good guy. I don't have my sheet up, so I'm trying to find it. I have stuff like, hold on. I'm just gonna audit all this. I don't care anymore. He has
producer. Can we stall for time? Thank you.
Cold reading, insight, sleight of hand, fast talk, that sort of stuff. He is a motivator of looking to make one big score and a complicator of pissed off the wrong people. You're welcome, Kevin. I guess we'll see how that plays out. He hangs out at Leslie Speakeasy. I'll let her give the wonderful name for the Speakeasy. But suffice it to say, he hangs out there.
So the next person on my screen is Leslie. So there you go. That was a good segue, John.
Hi. All right. So I'm playing Adeline Clark, or Addie. She goes by Addie Clark. She is a business owner. She owns and runs a speakeasy by the name of Black Bottom Passage. And for those of you who don't know, the Black Bottom was a popular dance in the 1920s. This is not a BDSM club, as mentioned earlier by certain other people.
Then it would be the Red Bottom.
Weirdos.
You can search up the dance. It's nothing bad's gonna pop up.
No, but it is actually fun and strange looking. There's a lot of this bit going on.
Right? A lot of butt bumping.
Predecessor to the chicken dance.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, it looks fun. They're having fun. Yeah, so the Black Bottom Passage is a speakeasy that I run. My character, she's sort of a failed actress who has started this bar to fill the hole in her psyche where performing used to be. So now she She sort of lords it over this space, and yeah, she's queen bee, and she's always trying to get all the thespians after shows to come to this bar, and so it's the happening place, especially after hours on off Broadway.
Very off Broadway.
Mhm.
Okay, so next we'll go with Jesse.
All right. I am playing Franky Lollipops Romano. He is your basic mafioso goon. Big brute, a lot of muscle, not a lot of brains. As evidenced by his skills of intimidation, fighting, and streetwise. So I know some people. I know how to get around, and I know how to punch people and make them really scared. As a kind of make sure way that Addie pays her bills on time and kind of keeps things good. Franky's been put in place as the bouncer to the speakeasy. But he likes the job. He actually likes that more than punching people in the face. Well, I mean, he still does that at the speakeasy, but it feels better when he does it there than when he just like beats up some random schmuck for not paying his bills on time. So,
Yeah, the person at the bar is usually totally asking for it.
Right, exactly, yeah. Most of the time, the people he beats up at the Black Bottom are drunk a-holes trying to hit on Addie.
If it gets to you, then they probably deserved it. Yeah,
exactly.
If it gets the third line support, then there was.
Yeah.
Yep. I haven't found a motivator yet for him, but his well, maybe I don't know. Maybe I have a complicator, but maybe that could also be his motivator instead. But he needs approval. So he's always like seeking someone to please so that they'll give him good feedback.
Yeah.
Well, we need to get him into some therapy.
So, Jesse, if you still want to work that, hold on to that thought, because there is a bit of a story thing that might I could see you easily latching on for that. So, it'll come up really quick when we start, but if you want to go with that, then I think that would fit in pretty good. So
sounds good. Yeah. So what I'll probably do is leave one of those blank, and depending on how it plays out in the first session, I'll either keep it the complicator or move it to the motivator, and then fill the blank in for the other one.
I think it'll fit really
progressive character generation. All right, that's me.
All right, next is Kurt.
Hi, my name is Kurt. I will be playing Arthur Miller, basically a bootlegger, criminal, kind of get everything kind of guy. I help Addie get her booze at the speakeasy, but I also can get other things, if cigarettes, dirty mags, that kind of thing. If anybody needs it, I can always find it. My skills that I have are like fast talk, streetwise, persuasion, insight. So that all kind of helps my character do his job, hopefully good. So
nice.
Cool. And then last is the other John.
Okay. Hi, I'm Lorenzo Bernardi. I am a CPA, an accountant. You see, the guys, they gave me the nickname Squints because I wear glasses and I squint a lot. But that's fine. I take it. They probably do love me. But I, like my father before me, I am the accountant for some disreputable places around town. My favorite being the Black Bottom Journeys. Nope, that wasn't it. It was the Black Bottom...
Passages.
The Black Bottom Passages is I'm just drawn there. It's one of my favorite places to go. I do have some things that I'm doing on the side that maybe if they wouldn't like so much, but like my father taught me how to do all of that stuff. So really, it's just a matter of just keeping it out of everyone's purview. Let's see. What else can I say about myself? Bookkeeping. I'm an excellent bookkeeper. I do very good research when asked to do so. And overall I'm pretty smart, even though they
they make fun of me sometimes for it. All right, that'll do.
I love it.
Okay, cool. So
Oh, before we continue, I just want to thank you, Kevin, for bringing back the 90s. I'm throwing it out there. It's a visual thing. You got to watch the YouTube video.
we have no water in the house, so I didn't get a chance to shave the dome. So I can't be seen without having a.
I'm sorry you got kicked out of the Backstreet Boys, but I'm glad you're here.
It literally, John. It took me a second to kind of piece where you were going with that.
I think you look more like backup singer to like Counting Crows, personally. I think
I need more dreads for that, wouldn't I?
I love it.
The way when it gets back to winter here again, I'll definitely have to, because I'm in the old converted garage, so there's not that much insulation in here. So I know we were going through setting up the characters and talking through some stuff. Are we at a point where there's still some stuff we need to talk, or do we want to jump in and start doing the do? I don't know if anyone else has any other build questions or anything like that, or role questions, or do we just want to kick off and go?
Well, I noticed that there was complicators and motivators thrown around. I probably just missed that whole thing when I was putting this together. So I don't know if do you need that like currently, or can we?
We said we wanted to try to do the Life Shapers thing, but you don't have to have it straight off the bat, right? So like for Franky, I think there is a good one that will pop up, pretty close right after we start. And it may also, there might be one you can pick from that also, just from who your characters are. But I don't think there's anything we need kind of right off the bat for those. We're not going to, the first stuff we're doing isn't going to hit on those things,
all right,
straight out of the gate. So
I had a couple written in. I just didn't know if they were good and or like I guess good enough. But we can just see how it goes.
And then
you can see how it feels.
Yeah, exactly. And then we were saying about the bonds. That was something we wanted to try out and see how it feels. See if it works with the way it's been written out. So, a bond would be another thing to kind of think of if you can get one to that. I said not needed right now, but we want to try to make sure the mechanic works and it flows and stuff like that.
Okay.
Cool. So if you guys want to start, we can go ahead and do that. I'm good to go. So
I guess I lied then. So like the session 0 is just us introducing the characters because we did everything off camera.
Well,
do you want to discuss bonds more? Because I know that I don't. Is that something that we can build as we go too, or did you want to establish right off the bat?
So we can, right? So again, shamelessly stealing from all of the other Cthulhu style games that are already out there. One of the things when characters take trauma in COREthulhu, during your downtime after an adventure, after all this, horrible shit happens, then you would spend your downtime trying to recover from that, whether it's therapy or drinking or, listening to music or whatever it happens to be.
Doing the black bottom.
Right. Yep. But one of the other things I wanted to take from some of these other systems is the idea of, sources of stability, bonds, all those sorts of things. So your characters, and there's no like mechanics for it yet, because this is just shit we're kicking around, is that your characters would theoretically, if you choose to, start the game with a bond at +1 for free. And then that would be, a close relationship, significant other, your kids, brother, family members. It could be potentially your partner, a la like Delta Green. And then when those things happen, the shock happens. There's no way to mitigate that. If you walk into the room and flip on the lights and there's a corpse, there's no like, oh, I blame my dad because I'm scared. Like, it doesn't work. The shock happens.
That doesn't work?
It doesn't work. I mean, it really doesn't work at any point, but mechanically within the game system, it doesn't work either.
Well, I've tried it.
But then
Can
afterwards,
confirm. I'm sorry.
When you go home and you've experienced all this horrible shit, you can expend a point of that bond. And at the beginning of the game, we're going to start with 1 theoretically. I guess we'll see how this shakes out. And you can damage that bond to get a bonus to your psyche roll when your downtime is complete and you're trying to recover from the horrible psychic mess. If you do that, then the bond becomes damaged, and then in theory you would play a vignette, because that's what this is all about. We're playing a game, we're having a good time, we're role playing all stuff out, and the GM or another player would then play your significant other, and they're like, hey, so how was work? How do you think work was? I don't work because we don't have any money or whatever. Like, it comes out then in play. You play a little vignette. That's the stuff that's going on in your downtime. And then if you want to increase that bond, you'll spend XP just like you would for a skill to buy that back up again. If you just continue to hammer on that bond, once it hits 0, it's strained. Once it goes below 0, it's probably broken, right? Or you're then like doing therapy in game with your significant other to try to reclaim that bond. But it's a game about horrible shit. So like, maybe you get divorced in the game. Maybe that's not fun for people, and then don't do it. I don't know.
So can I throw out would this be a good or bad example of this? So I would just in talking about the black bottom and like how my character prefers to be there. Mm-hmm. Would it make sense to say that I've got I am drawn to Addie's the way that she runs the place, like the way that she acts and everything, because does that make sense for a bond, or is that not the spirit of it?
A bond it'd be more of a person, right? So it would be
some
Addie, significant
in your. Oh, yeah, okay. Sure. You could just think that Addie's the bee's knees.
Yeah. So okay, that's a lot closer to what I was trying to say.
It's funny if Addie and Lorenzo were like sweethearts, because she's like this baseball bat wielding.
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to offer that up, but like maybe like in some sort of subconscious. Like Lorenzo would want that, except he's never I'm never going to approach Addie like that. Ever.
I mean, it could absolutely. In theory, could it be a one-way bond?
Oh, so there's a two-way aspect. Okay,
so there should be, right? That's why I say significant other, your kids, your brother, your family, whatever. It's an interesting thing that we could play with, right? So that if that's an unrequited thing, then when bad things happen and if you choose to then expend a point of that bond, it may be, you never, I'm always in here. You never say anything. I brought flowers the last time. You didn't even say thank you, right? So like, okay, it would burn it on your end and not on the other end. So I don't know.
That's interesting. Yeah,
that would be more narrative play part of it, right? It's not mechanical. If we're going to do that bond, yeah.
I mean, we could try it. I mean, that may be an interesting thing to see whether or not how that worked, right? Because it's a thing for you, right? So if you burn your bond with Addie, maybe at some point, if it gets bad enough, you'd never go back to the speakeasy, right? I mean,
they could be best friends, but he's just harboring the love interest, and she doesn't know it, right?
Yeah, he's never going to act on it. It could be like bond. Unrequited infatuation.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Could that be a life shape?
Is infatuation like a little too aggressive though? Because that's not how it feels like. It's not like.
Well,
that.
no, I mean,
I'm not sitting there like pining. It's just more. I just want to be around it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I think it would be great. Like they could be best friends.
It's the Lorenzo. You're such a good friend. Like,
you got friend zone.
Yeah. Yes. You got friend zoned. No, that would actually be really
good. So that we can play with that and see if that works, or is that bordering on a life shaper then? Like, I guess it depends on how.
I think the breakdown with that,
Is?
if the
Sorry,
life
I have to
shaper,
change it. It's not. It's got a. The friend zone is like what is like the name that I'm called behind the scenes when they're mocking me.
Yes, absolutely.
Because
When
it's
she's out with all
obvious.
her girlfriends.
That's
yeah.
what
I'm
everybody
so-
at the Black Bottom
Yeah.
calls you.
She's
Yep.
so out of my league that it's one of those things. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Sorry.
if you want it to be purely narrative, make it a life shaper. If you want to have it narrative but also have an impact mechanically, then you could use it as a bond. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
Well,
I could see it like once it goes bad, it becoming like a complicator life shaper.
That's true too. Yeah.
So
Shift
Once
from
it
one
goes
to the other.
bad, are we just dooming us to?
yeah. It's fucking Cthulhu, of course.
COREthulhu, baby.
Yes, I need you guys to act out this painful.
Hey, that's
One day
Yeah,
he comes
my
into the
bread's
bar,
bread
you're
and
there with
butter.
the bat.
Amazing.
Side note, I heard some good advice for anybody who keeps a bat as personal protection. Put a sock over the end of it.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that way when you swing at them and they grab it, they pull the sock off and you can smack them again.
Nice. I like that. I may just
There you
go buy
go.
a bat now.
educational.
I think she uses stockings, probably.
That makes sense
Yeah, there you
too.
go.
Absolutely, yep. They're slippery. You can't
Yeah.
grab the end.
They do tear the nails though.
True.
Or the nails tear.
Isn't that, yeah.
She's the old stockings, the ones that already have runs in them.
Right, yeah.
So 1 point from me is I'm gonna try to make sure, as John said, every time we've done COREthulhu before, it's been a short for us, right? It was supposed to be a one session, but it stretches out. But
Yeah.
John B, when we played before, that stretched out to how many different, we expected it to be short. But the
I'm
one thing
sorry.
I want to make sure is that we keep track of the stuff you guys earn. So I'm going to make sure I try to make sure that if you roll 2 under or 2 over, you get the experience and all that kind of stuff. Or if you play into your life shaper. So I was going to say, keep me honest, but make sure that I'm not missing that. I will go back to make sure I catch up if I miss any from the recording. I just want to make sure that, we never had to worry about that before because we always played and it was
Right, yeah.
never meant to go anywhere afterwards. So just make sure I'm not shorting anybody on anything that they should be getting for their character.
Sounds
good.
good.
And we could definitely do that either post show or, end of the game or whatever.
Yeah.
Just to see, because there's some other things that are sort of vague, right? So like if you discover, some, not necessarily, not if you discover the clue necessarily, but like if you uncover some greater truth or whatever, right? Like there's some things that are vague that may also
Yeah. That we
tend
can
to-
discuss. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Kind of argue for.
Cool. So I think that's all kind of crunchy stuff. If there's anything anyone else wanted to go over.
I don't think there's a whole lot that's really, really new. Some of the skills changed a little bit. The way magic works changed a little bit.
Anyone planning on casting spells in the first session?
No.
No?
Yeah.
No? Okay, cool.
Not the first session. We don't want to. We don't want. It's like having a trailer that has all the good stuff in it, and then you go and watch the movie.
Right.
Nothing happens.
Kevin, how likely would it be for Franky to have a gun?
I would think. He's not just someone that hangs out there that, took on the role of being the muscle, right? It sounds like Franky's pretty plugged in. So
Yeah. he's
not just
up.
he's not a regular who does favors for Addie and keeps everything under control, right? It sounds like you have a particular role, not even just from Addie to do that. So to me, I would assume he would. So
Sounds good.
Lorenzo, maybe not so much, but
Nope, definitely.
I think
definitely
Franky
not.
definitely.
Yeah, I had a
and I
little pocket pistol too, just in case.
And I would leave that up to Arthur, so Kurt, I would leave that, you're kind of in a shady business. So I would leave it up to you about how you want to protect yourself. So,
Sawed off. Right? He's
Yeah.
got a sawed off in the back seat.
well, yeah, Addie's all armed up. She's ready to go. So,
So the only gear that I have is my trusty, like my general ledger, which is I've nicknamed Heath,
Your
and then a
pen.
series of varied thickness pencils.
and a green visor.
Yes, yes.
Yes, I will add a green visor. I will definitely.
Well, since we've determined that the bat is like stage 1 and the shotgun is stage 2, I think the bat should be called fuck around and the shotgun will be called find out.
Yes.
Beautiful. Do you have them hung up on the wall with
Of course.
No, only the bat. It just says
Only the
fuck
bat,
around. Everyone's just surprised.
Yeah, the shotgun's underneath the counter.
Yep.
But it still has a
Makes
plaque.
sense.
It still has an engraved plaque with it, even though it's hidden.
Right.
Just find out.
Out of all the internet culture things, I think that might be my favorite. Is the fuck around and find out.
Right? I know it's not 1920s, but it still feels right.
Yeah. So
Well,
for
that's where it
Arthur, I would
started.
say
It started
I would
with
leave
Addie.
it up to you to decide, Arthur. Sorry, John.
No, I'm sorry. I got excited.
Yeah. He probably.
I'm sorry as well. Just I'm gonna throw that out.
I'm the sorriest,
Should be.
okay?
But I mean, also you can play up to play, right? So if Arthur's trusted for his logistics stuff, maybe he doesn't need to cover his ass or protect himself. Or if
Yeah.
I would let you you decide if you want. If you feel like the character would have a gun or something like that, or some kind of protection, or if you're like, what, I do my job, everybody knows me. If I'm doing shady stuff, it's with other shady people, so it's not that kind of thing.
He doesn't have a gun. He carries a garrote.
Old
Piano
school.
wire.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to think of something different, like maybe like a knife or something like that, just in case.
Okay.
I don't think he would be more of a gun guy. So
Okay. Yeah. As I said, I just with Jesse bringing it up, I just wanted to make sure that
yeah,
that
let's
you
do
would
it
have-
like he'll have like a switchblade. So
Okay.
like every once in a while he'll bring it up. He doesn't have intimidation, but maybe in the future he could. So
And also, you're a cog in a bigger machine. So if something
Mhm.
goes wrong with you, other more important people are going to be affected. So, you also
Mhm.
have that. Look, it may not be good for you that, something happened to you and now you're dead, but there will be some kind of payback or retribution, right? Because
Mhm.
someone doing something to you causes an impact down the line on everyone else.
yeah.
So you might have that little bit of protection saying, well, yeah, you can't fuck around with me because then you'll find out, that kind of thing.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Do we all have our own versions of fuck around and find out?
I can't wait to see whose is next.
These guys.
You call those fist
This
names?
one's fuck around. This one's find out.
He's got tattoos on his knuckles.
Right.
There's too many letters, though. So it's just like really tiny words that are
Like 3 letters per.
no one can read it.
Fuck around and
What is it?
Funkarin?
It's like a license plate. You're like, what the fuck does that mean?
So,
FKRND. I don't get it.
and then while you're beating them, you explain it. So then you can
Yeah.
It just gets you angrier the more people don't get it. But it says Finn dude. What?
So it would make sense that, obviously, I think, John, one of the things we talked about before is if everybody knew each other, I think it kind of just naturally feels like everybody would know of each other, right? Just the way everything seemed to go so far.
At least by sight, right? Like if
Yeah.
Arthur comes in and Lorenzo's doing books at a corner table, and
I've got
You know,
everybody's
Leonard is-
W-2s on file, so I know everyone's. Everyone gets paid because of me.
Leonard comes in, sits at the bar, and Arthur walks up and plops down a case of hooch or whatever, right? Like we might not know each other, but like
Know
you said,
of
know
each other.
of each other.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
when we wind up all in a room together, like I know you.
Yeah. Okay. So to do the stereotypical, everybody's in a bar together kind of thing. So let's have it. So you're at the Black Bottom Passage, right? That's what we said it was. Yeah, Black Bottom Passage. So I said it's December 14th. Let's say it's early afternoon, so it's like 1:00, maybe after kind of lunchtime. And
Anytime afternoon, baby. I said anytime afternoon.
Well, yeah, it's 5:00 somewhere, right? I don't know if that saying was back then, right? Or happy hours. Did they have happy hours back then? So let's say that, yeah, so it's like around 1:00 or something like that. So Franky, you have been given just some piece of paper that has some names on it. So your name's on it. There's Leonard's name. There's Addie's name. There's Arthur's name, and there's Lorenzo's name. And it just says underneath, to have everybody come over to the Taste of Italy meats and cheeses shop, which is kind of across the street, maybe one or two storefronts down from the Black Bottom. And obviously you've gotten that message from the Taste of Italy front. I mean, meats and cheeses store, just to have you and then this group of people, which you're just checking to see if they are all together or if they're all there at that time in the Black Bottom Passage.
All right. And yeah. When I get it, I ask the guy at the counter what's written on the paper.
So it was given to you from the shop, but you're in the bar, right? So you're in.
Oh, I'm in the bar.
Yeah, someone came over and handed.
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, yeah. So when I go, I'll go up to the counter and I'll go, oh yeah, hey Addie. Oh, I got this paper. What's this say?
Oh, you don't know how to read this. All right. And she takes it and she kind of looks at it. She sees the name and sees the location. What does she know about this place?
So it is a store that sells Italian food and cheese and pasta and things like that. But you do know, if you go walk through the back and up a flight of stairs, there is an office up there. So that is the office for you. So his name is Peter Messina. So he is kind of the boss of the he kind of controls the mob in Buffalo. So that is kind of the Bada Bing, right? Or Satriali's. That's the front where his office and everything is in the back.
Gotcha. It's like, ooh, this looks kind of important, doll. We should probably get everybody together and go.
Okay.
So I can get Squints. Can you get Arthur and Leonard?
You see me in the corner. He's not doing card tricks, but he's, the magicians are shuffle the cards with one hand and the cards turn sideways and whatever. And he's just talking to a bunch of, young flapper girls, flipping the cards and spreading them all out so that they can pick a card so he can do tarot reading. He's working. He's a close talker. He's in real close,
Yeah. Addie heads to the back to go look for Squints.
Where's Arthur right now?
Where would Arthur be? Let's say Arthur is in the corner playing cards with a couple other guys, and he's actually dealing or whatever, and he's oh God, I'm trying to think. like they're playing like he's like the game is 5-card stud and one-eye jacks are wild. And he's like dealing out all the cards or whatever, and he's like when he's dealing out the cards and he's shuffling and stuff like that, he's like doing all these tricks with his hands, but he's also like he'll like hide a card like under the table or something like that, or kind of placing on his leg and not try to make it so where anybody can't see. And then he'll do the thing too where he's like double checking to see if anybody can see. So he'll actually take the card again and put it in the deck and shuffle it up again. And then he'll deal a bunch of cards. He won't actually have a card on him, but he just wanted to see if anybody reacted to that. And if anybody did, then he'll probably cheat the next time they actually play again.
I was gonna say, as if he did put a card like down on the side, like when Franky walks up behind him and he goes, "Hey Artie, we got something. Hey, you dropped a card in your lap there. I don't know if you need that one or not."
And like Arthur knows Franky pretty well, so he doesn't even play it off as he got caught. He just slaps and he goes, "Franky, you dumb animal! Nothing's wrong. I didn't drop any cards. It's just the things that I do. My hands move so quick, so quick." You know, he's just like putting his hands in front of Franky,
Artie.
but he's also like he knows like you can't do like fast like hand stuff in front of Franky, otherwise he might take a swipe at you. So he's just kind of like, oh, and he goes back to like his shuffling and just like still is, he wasn't shuffling or whatever, but he's like, yeah, everything's cool, Franky, everything's cool. Well, you gotta bust my balls. What are you doing here?
Oh, I just got we're supposed to be heading up over to one of the delis for something. One of the capo has called us up.
And he'll look at the other people that are dealing out the cards or whatever, and he'll be like, "Well, boys, this has been fun, but old Arthur Miller's gotta go. Duty calls."
Grabs all the money out of the middle.
All right.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so while we're waiting for John to come back,
Addie will go talk to Leonard on our way to go get.
Yeah, I was gonna say because Addie was asking where Lorenzo was, and I guess we were assuming he was kind of maybe in the back or something, or he wasn't with the rest. Okay, yeah, so let's go ahead and do that. I was just trying to think of some stuff to do, what we could do.
Yeah. No, she'll stop by Leonard's tarot reading. So she's gonna like walk up behind him and she kind of like leans over and she's like, "So, doll, what does it say? Is anything good gonna happen today?"
And he's kind of surprised because he's like focused on what he's doing because he's trying to, read these girls and just kind of tell them what they want to hear and whatever. And as you lean into him, he kind of flutters the cards a little bit, and the Two of Swords falls down on the table in its upright orientation to me, and he looks down at it and then he looks back at you. He doesn't say anything, but what that means is difficult choices or indecision. And he's like, oh, hey. So no, and he picks the card up. So like, no one like, oh, not that anybody knows what it means, but he like shuffles it back in. Things are fine. Everything's fine. Do you need anything?
I do. I do. Actually, I came to get you. So we have a bit of a meeting over at Taste of Italy right now. So can you say goodbye to your friends? Bye-bye, ladies.
And I'm sure they probably like look at me and start to turn since you own the place or whatever. And he's like, "Oh, later." And they're like already walking away.
She's like, well, sorry to ruin your fun, but we've got some work to do or something. I'm not really sure what they want.
Well, if it's what I think that it is, it's probably best not to keep him waiting.
Well, let's go find Squint.
Why would we need Squints for?
Oh, well, because that's what it said. I'm just following the paper. Well, I looked for him in the back and he wasn't there, so I'm not sure. Maybe we should go without him? Or should we just give him a call and see if he'll come meet us?
Let me check the bathroom. Maybe he's in the bathroom. Seems like he's the kind of guy with a weak constitution.
Don't talk bad about my friend Squencies.
Oh yeah, he's a quiet guy. He's a little squirrely. I don't know.
It all depends. If he puts a little too much butter on his bagel, then sometimes he has to make a run for the bathroom.
Oh, listen. This is more than I want to hear, boys. All right.
So when we were talking, obviously we'll let John fill us in when he gets back. But did he say he has like an officer room at the Black Bottom, or did I hear that wrong?
So I was just assuming he could be there in like the back office doing some work that day, or he
just wanted to
could
make
be
sure
at his office.
Okay, I just want to make sure I didn't hear that. So he's in an office, whether it's yours because he's doing some work for you, or he just
Or
has
somewhere else.
a bolt hole there. Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure I couldn't remember if it was you or John that said that. What else could we do? I don't want to leave John behind. I feel bad. I feel bad if we leave him behind. Well, let's play this, right? So his character's a bit of a nervous, we said Weasley guy, right? So let's play it that you guys go over and then he has to come in later and do that. Does that sound good?
Sure, yeah.
Have him.
She could just like leave a message, at his office with his secretary, and he's just out and he'll meet us later.
Okay. So if you guys want to walk over, so like I said, the Taste of Italy is just kind of across the street and maybe a couple down. It's
I wanted to take a trolley.
We'll work that in later. I'll put some trolleys in later. We'll do a trolley chase scene. Okay, don't say that too many times. So you walk in. Obviously, you guys have probably been there before. It is a shop, right? So you can go in and buy stuff. But when you walk in, what's the order of march into the shop? So who's going in first? Does someone still have the paper that Franky had, that was delivered across to him?
Well, I'm figuring there's probably the only direct connection to the gang, to the family. Franky will probably go in first.
Okay.
Even though he's only an associate, he's not like actually ranked in there yet. He's not made.
Yeah.
But he's hoping one day if he beats up enough people.
Okay.
Yeah, probably like Franky and then Addie and then like Arthur and Leonard. Maybe.
Yeah, I just wanted to see if someone did still have the paper and if they were the one go, because if whoever had the paper would get a straight shot back. If you guys were just stomping in, going back through the shop to the back door and going up, there might be a bit more resistance to it. So
yeah. Oh no, he'll stop. He probably knows the people behind the counter. They probably know him. He's done this before a few times.
Okay.
So he'll have the paper and goes, "Oh, hey Martha, how you doing? How are the kids?"
And you see a haggard older Italian lady behind the I was going to say not behind the register, but behind the counter, and she just kind of just waves you on. She's putting some stuff, wrapping it up in some grease paper, and just go in the back, and she's just waving you guys on.
Okay, yeah, it's always nice to talk to you. I'll see you soon.
And then she mumbles something under her breath in Italian. I don't know any Italian words, but yeah, she does mumble something. And there was just one other customer in there. She's Martha's wrapping.
There was a hand motion with it, wasn't there?
There's always a hand motion.
Yeah.
So let's just say it's back through the back. There's a door that opens up. Do we want to go upstairs? Yeah, let's say it's an office upstairs on a second floor. So you're going up some steps. Once you get through the door, it is kind of very narrow, and the steps are very narrow going up. So there's not a lot of ingress and egress from there. It's just, some steps up. And then, there's like kind of a closed door at the top of the steps. So if Franky's in the lead, does Franky just go in or does he knock?
Oh, God, no. Oh, no. No, he will very meekly knock on the door.
Okay. And then you'll hear some heavy footsteps coming over to the door. The door opens. You see a very large, very tall, even bigger than Franky, very thick-necked man open the door. And then Franky, you'll know him as Vinny. And obviously, if he has a giant neck, his name is Vinny the Neck. So you will know, Vinny as he opens the door. And he
hey, Vinny, we're here to see the boss.
And then he'll just kind of look down at you and not say anything and just wave you guys all in. And he'll hold the door open, wait till you guys all walk in. And then he'll see the 1, 2, 3, 4 of you walk in and kind of look back down the door, look down the steps with a kind of quizzical look on his face. And he'll kind of look over to all of you before he shuts the door.
So, Vinny, we couldn't find Lorenzo. I don't know where he is.
And then while Vinny takes one last look down the steps and kind of shuts the door slowly, and then we'll walk over to a big desk on the other side of the room, big wooden desk. Behind it is a bunch of shelves with a bunch of books, actually quite a few books. I'm trying to think if there's a painting or not. Let's say there is a painting. I can't think of anything good for the painting to be. Okay. So it's the Virgin Mary. What's the Virgin Mary holding Jesus? The famous statue.
Yeah. After he's been crucified.
Exactly. So there's a big painting of that. You got to throw in some Catholic imagery, right? So there's a big one of those. And on the desk, you see a tarot deck. And then behind the desk is a man in very nice suit, very professionally tailored, very sharp, very not trendy, but it's of the style. It's a very nice suit, and this is Pietro Messina. You guys will have known him just because he is the boss of the family. I would assume that you guys maybe have met him in the past, maybe not a lot, or maybe not deep discussions, but you know him, of him, and you have chatted with him in the past. So when you do that, and Vinny turns back around and walks over to the side of the desk where Pietro is sitting, and let's freeze frame that on whether you guys are turning back towards face Messina. Lorenzo, everybody was looking for you. There was a piece of paper delivered to Franky that had all your names on it to come over to the Taste of Italy deli across the street and a few buildings down. So they all kind of looked for you and they all left. But I think Addie did leave a note for you to follow up with them whenever you see that.
Okay, I can see it whenever is narratively appropriate for me to meet up with them at a narratively advantageous and appropriate intersection in the narrative.
So did you say inappropriate or appropriate?
I think inappropriate is better.
Yes.
Okay, so
I was briefly detained by an unfortunate. There was an incident with one of the other accounts, and I had to go make sure that everything was okay with the skimming. Nope, with the debits and credits.
The skimming.
I did not say that.
Cut to, where the fuck is that other guy? I told you to bring that other guy. Where's that squinty one?
Please stop battering me.
So let's say when Vinny walks back over to the desk, he kind of Pietro kind of waves him closer, so he leans down and talks to him. And so he Vinny gets back, leans back and then walks over towards the door, kind of walks through you guys, walks to the door and goes down the steps. So while he's going down the steps looking for Lorenzo, Pietro then kind of spreads his arms and says, everybody get comfortable. Everybody sit down. We'll wait for Mr. Bernardi for a second, but please sit down. And, there's enough chairs for all of you guys to go sit down.
What? I don't know if this
Okay, Mr.
matters.
Messina.
What kind of tarot deck does he have? Like, it would catch my eye.
Yeah.
And I would just try to take a glance at it and see, like, what the back was, or if you had.
Is it the
cards
Rider-Waite Tarot?
Yeah.
The classic.
Okay, my daughter has a couple tarot decks. I don't know what all the different names are, but I'll just kind of bullshit this, right? So, John, let's do a roll. I guess, would you do a brains roll?
Brains plus occult.
Yep, that sounds good.
All right. What's my DL?
Let's say, hold on, let me check that. I just had that up a minute ago. Let's say 4, because it is a deck sitting on the table across the room. It's not like it's hidden or anything, but it is a little bit further away. So 4.
Okay, so I got a 5 plus 1 is 6. So a yes end.
Okay, so that is. So I'm marking this down. John gets a.
Yep.
John gets an XP. Don't worry, I'll make this flow a little bit better. I'm just paranoid that I don't want to miss anything. So that is, what did we say that is? That's a yes and,
yes and.
Right? Okay. Yep. So it is a
vaporwave deck. It's all like pink and purple with like black jagged.
It's shimmering and like it's holographic and stuff. No. So it is a very nice deck. It's a very it's not a deck that you would find just in the street, a shop, or even just someone reading your fortune down the street would have. It is if it's not a requested handmade deck specific to what what he wanted, it is very high manufacture, lots of detail to it. So something that would be worth a good deal of money. And, this isn't for someone who just wanted something to put on his desk. And
I don't know. This is the part I'm terrible about.
Have you done a reading for him before?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to?
A couple of times.
Okay. Do you want to do that and they were good readings? He was happy with them, or, unless you can think of something else, it's.
Yeah, I think so. Right. Just like you when you're cold reading, right, you're checking body language, they lean forward, you say something that they agree with, you're milking them for more information than you're actually providing. Right. Mm-hmm. So it's almost always positive. Like he'll try to throw something negative in just to like balance it out. It'd be like, oh, and yeah, like there's a change coming for, blah, 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 whatever. Right. Like, something, whatever.
So let's also say that obviously from what kind of deck that is, you probably haven't seen that before when you've done readings for him. So obviously your readings must have been good because you can't bullshit a bullshitter, right? It looks like he knows what's, he's not completely new to that kind of thing. It is a very, very fancy deck. So, whatever you did, even if you were finagling it a bit, he was quite happy with that. And, it was either what he didn't think he was being taken for a ride, at the carnival kind of thing.
Right.
Okay.
I think
cool. And then while you guys are all sitting down and Leonard's kind of staring at the corner of the desk, Vinny comes down the steps. So this is Vinny the neck, Lorenzo, who's coming to look for you. He has a very, very thick neck. So, he comes out of the shop and maybe sees you coming across the street. Whether you're hurriedly moving or slowly moving, he's outside of the door of the deli and sees you coming across.
I probably have my arms full of a bunch of papers, and I think I slam into him. Oh, my, what a thick neck you have. I'm kind of like leaning back, like, oh boy.
So he'll look down and say, each time you say that, it never gets old. It just gets funnier each time. And kind of smart assedly says that to you and kind of just grabs your arm, not grabs you, but takes you and walks you over towards the door to the Taste of Italy and walks you through to the back. And then
Okay, no need to be. It's fine. I'm coming. It's okay. Ooh, brute.
If you hadn't have been late, then I wouldn't have had to come get you.
I'm very busy. I have very important things to do. But all right. It's we'll I'll just take it easy.
So do I know him?
It
Sounds like I know. I might know him. Maybe I recognize his.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Vinny.
he's kind of he's a big, huge, muscular guy that's always with
Yeah.
the boss. So yeah, you can kind of guess what his job is.
All right. You know what? While I have you here, and I reach in, I give him a paycheck.
Okay, he opens up his suit jacket and slides it in and gives you a big smile and kind of lets go of your arm and kind of rubs it and pats it where he grabbed you.
All right. Thank you.
It's a bit he's a bit more smiley with you now after that.
Oh, good. Nice and smiley again. Wonderful. All right. Well, let's go.
So he'll go to the top of the steps and just open the door and wave you in, and you can see everyone else is seated, and there's just an extra empty chair there.
Oh, hello, everyone. I'm sorry I'm late. I was detained. I was detained by one of the other. Well, no matter. This seat looks good. I'll have a seat right here. Yes. Make some chair sounds.
So then Pietro Messina will kind of look over at you and say, anything that delayed you that I need to know, or anything we need to worry about?
I'm sorry. Who is this man?
This is the boss man. His name is
the boss man.
The boss man. Yeah. Pietro
Nothing.
Messina.
Nothing that I couldn't have taken care of. It won't be a problem.
All right. So he
Debits and credits and whatnot.
hopefully more debits to our side than credits.
Of course. Of course. Yes.
As Vinny is after Vinny takes Lorenzo up and Lorenzo's talking to everybody, excusing himself or whatever, Arthur goes up to Vinny and goes, "Hey Vinny, what about that scarf that I gave you? All right, nice and thick, right? Get nice and big, be able to fit, get it over that neck. I know you're a little sometimes you're a little shy about the neck thing. So, how did that work out for you?"
So he'll say it's a little bit early for Christmas, but I definitely appreciate it. And you can see it hanging on like a coat rack, over on the side of the desk. And, he kind of gives you another smiley look. So maybe Vinny tends to be a smiley guy if he's in the mood, right? Not a lot of talking, but a lot of big smiles. So he says, yeah, I really like it. Thank you.
Yeah. And he'll just give him like a head nod. He doesn't like to push it too much with people. He just is like, "Oh, you like my thing?" And if they like it, then he's like, "Of course you do." And then he'll move on.
And he'll kind of, give you a tap on the shoulder, very friendly, "Thank you very much," kind of gesture. And when you say Christmas, so then Pietro says, "Speaking of Christmas, I have a few gifts for you, and I also may need a favor in return." Okay, that sounded a bit more ominous than I wanted it to, coming from my guy. So now he just says, "Over on the table, I have some Christmas baskets for you, and I would like to discuss something else with you afterwards. So if you look over, there's a big table, and there's some wicker baskets with okay, so giant salami sticking out, a wheel of cheese, a bag of paws. It's you're in a deli, right? So he's got a nice little Christmas basket for all of you."
Oh, thanks, boss. You didn't have to. This was really nice.
Oh, yeah, deli meats and cheeses. Excellent. I'll have to amortize those over multiple stuffs. I ran out of words to say.
I'm sure Arthur will be able to pull up some receipts. He helped us get the basket, so we'll be able to tell you what the EBITDA for those is.
Well,
you
yeah,
can put them in there.
I always need receipts. I always need them.
Hopefully not. So yeah, Petra says, hopefully not for everything and always.
No, well, for as much as it is possible, of course, I need to be able to account for everything. It's just-
Where appropriate, right?
Where appropriate, exactly.
Well, Mr. Messina, you're just the cat's pajamas. This is just delightful.
I'm in a giving mood. As you said, it's that time of year, getting close to Christmas, and it's not like I had to go very far to whip up these baskets and get them to you. But I figured it's always good to spread the joy this time of year, and make sure when you take these out, you tell everybody what shop they came from.
Of course, it's just delightful.
It's very thoughtful. I feel like I should have brought something.
It's the Christmas spirit.
Well, Mr. Walcott, you may be able to give a little something back later, but we'll discuss that after business. So then, when he says business, Vinny comes back around after chatting with Arthur. Vinny comes back around and is just standing next to the desk, and Pietro kind of slams his hands down on the desk. Not anything to grab attention or anything, just like, okay, right, down to business. How do I want to do this? One thing I want to do is let's have everybody make a brains roll.
What are we trying to figure out?
So you know that Messina is a newer boss. He just kind of took over as the head. The old boss, let me write down his name. The old boss was Giacomo Salso. So he died. So we say 2023 in December. Let's just say towards the beginning of the year, Salso died, who was the old boss. And Messina has taken over.
So is this like an insight?
Yeah, so it's just an insight of
Brains
because obviously
insight.
you've done work for Messina, I guess, over the past. We said it's been almost a year since this has happened, so you've done work for him. So it's just maybe get a bit of a feel on that transition and how that happened and your position in that transition, things like that.
Could I maybe add Streetwise to this?
Yes. And
Yeah.
if anyone else has Streetwise, I think a couple people did, right?
What's
That's
our
a 4
deal?
for me then.
DL would be, let me look.
I got a 4 too.
So I would say a 4. So difficult 4.
Okay, I got a 5 total.
Okay.
Oh.
So I got a yes. Franky and Addie got a yes, but
Yes, but okay, 4, miss. Okay, what about Franky and Arthur? So DL was 4.
Franky got a 4.
Okay.
Arthur got a 7.
damn,
What? You brainy motherfucker.
Lorenzo got a 6.
Okay. Lorenzo got a 6. Is that what you said?
Yep.
Okay.
So XP for Arthur and Lorenzo.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go with I think Leonard, Addie, and Franky all got 4s, correct?
Nope, I got a 5.
You got a 5. Okay, so okay, John, you nailed it precisely.
Mhm.
Okay, how do I want to do this? And then Franky and Addie got 4s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Franky and Addie, you've been in the business, or you've been working with the mob for quite a while. So just due to the amount of time spent and the fact that Messina is newer to it, you're more of a known commodity to the old side of the family that was running everything. So you've done work for Messina, but obviously there is that bit of, there's a new sheriff in town, but you guys actually had a lot more relationship with the old boss. So it's a cordial relationship, but it isn't anything super close. You're not part of the quote unquote family, but everything's been very professional. So, there is that bit of not mistrust, but there's still that kind of feeling out of there's a new boss. I've got new employees. Let's see, everything's working out. So far, your review, your personal review up to this point's been pretty good, but, we're still working through not the trust issues, but, this is a business that relies on trust. So, every good thing that happens, everything positive, it builds up that relationship a bit more. John, let's do. So that was a miss by one, no, but then so something positive from Franky and Addie. So you've done work, but you're more of the old guard because you were working with the old boss a lot longer than the new boss. But there is that respect, and you've done some jobs. So that trust isn't 1,000,000%, but you're invited over, you got a fruit basket or a meat and cheese basket, and you've had jobs, but you're not as plugged in as you used to be with the old people in charge. But then something positive.
No, it's a but. So it's something negative.
But something negative?
Yeah.
Did I read that wrong?
Yep.
Oh, something negative.
But something negative.
Oh, so that was me then. Okay, yeah. So you've had a relationship, but you're still not completely trusted. Sorry,
Yeah.
John.
So
I
that
read
makes
that
total
wrong.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I felt like you did it. So
Okay. My bad. Okay, so then John H. So you nailed it precisely. So that's a yes. So as we said, maybe you haven't done quote unquote work for Messina, but obviously you've done a few readings for him. And like we said, not to recycle it, but you've done some readings. You're a bit more, there's a bit more cordiality and personal, back and forth between you two. It's not like Addie and Franky where there's actually, they're doing jobs for him. Yeah. Exactly. But he's invited you in, you're looking around and seeing everyone else out here and kind of wondering, each of them has a bit invested in the work, and you're there, and it's because he's built up a rapport with you.
right, we have a shared interest in at least occult, not necessarily the occult, but like spiritual matters or whatever.
Exactly, as you can tell from the tarot deck on the side, and you've done some readings for him before. Okay, so for Franky and Lorenzo, you both got exceeded by more than one, right?
Yep. So they got ends. Yep.
Yep. So yes, and something positive on those.
You would want to go first, Franky? You go first, Franky, so I can hear exactly what it is that we rolled for.
Well,
No, I think it's Arthur. Yeah,
Yeah.
Arthur.
I'm so sorry, Arthur.
Boy, Lorenzo, I tell you think you'd know my name by now.
I know you by your W-2s.
What? That's all I am is numbers? Numbers? That's all I am?
It's really the only. I'm more comfortable dealing with numbers. So
I got you those special pencils from China. You don't like those?
you did. I love them. It's all that I use. I use them all the time. See, look, I have them. I take them out of my pocket and they go spilling everywhere. Oh, okay. I'm picking them all up. Oh, see, they're right. It's all I use. It's my favorite writing utensils.
So like Arthur will actually bend over and help Lorenzo pick up those pencils, and he'll just be in. I think his and is basically like that it doesn't matter who's the old boss, who's the new boss kind of thing. Like he knows that in his mind that he has it set that if anybody needs anything that he's the guy. So like, usually he thinks that, but when there's like a change in the hierarchy or whatever, usually he gets kind of nervous because he's like, well, what's this family gonna think of me this time kind of thing. But he's just kind of assured that the Messina family or whatever will take care of him.
Okay, so yeah, there's not that. Even though maybe you, as with Addie and Franky, you did a lot more business with the old boss, but to you, you've also done some stuff for the new boss, and your position you feel is secure. not position, but you're a bit more in maybe than Addie and Franky is just because of that time.
Yeah.
Okay. Lorenzo.
So the role was for what?
So it was
Again?
just
Sorry.
no, it's fine. It was so just to understand. So I forget which part you heard. So Pietro Messina is the new boss, and this is in December, and he took over in kind of the beginning of the year when the old boss died. And
Yes,
so
right. I remember that.
And
yeah.
Messina is kind of from a different crew than the old boss, right? So it isn't just, it wasn't like the old boss's second in command took over. It was from like a different family or different part of the family that took over. So it was like, a factional thing. It was a change. It was almost like a different royal family taking over the crown. So
Right, his I-9s changed, so I needed to make sure I did it right. I actually have all the forms. Yes, and I've got all the forms, and I give them to him, and I said, "You need to fill these out." I have to keep everything. I have to keep everything smooth, for the books.
he looks over and kind of smirks at you and jerks his head over to Vinny. So Vinny comes over and grabs the papers for him and brings them back to the desk.
Thank you, Vinny.
So I don't know, John, if you had heard. So Franky and Addie missed the role. So theirs was they did a lot of work for the old boss just because of the longer time. It's only been 10 months. So they've done jobs. They're in with the new boss, but they're still not that complete familiarity or trust or, all that kind of stuff. They're still getting called on to do stuff. They're here. They got a nice Christmas basket, but obviously you and Arthur feel like you're a bit in more than
we knew this was happening. We heard about it. We heard about it last week. So this was expected. I figured this is why I was late. I already knew what the meeting was about. So I had to stop off to get the paperwork. I just didn't realize it was going to be this soon. So here we are.
So Pietro says, hopefully you don't know everything about what this meeting is about, or I've got to look around for people who have some flapping lips. And he kind of looks up at Vinny, and Vinny kind of shrugs and shakes his head no. So
I wouldn't know anything about that.
You're very slippery, Squints. I have to keep my eyes on you.
I have nothing to hide.
So he also, as I said, also there's a basket with some stuff in it as a Christmas present too for all of you.
Deli meats and cheeses, yes,
exactly, yeah, and some pasta, some tomato. Got to throw some tomatoes in there too, right? So
tomatoes, excellent,
yeah, exactly. So then Pietro says, so I'm in a gift giving mood, but I also need maybe not a gift, but there is a job that I will that I would like to have you involved with. So then he kind of looks over at Vinny. Vinny's still, everyone else is sitting. Vinny's still kind of standing there, propped up. We have a good relationship with our friends in Toronto. So our associates. We're not part of the same group, but we have a good working relationship with them. What I would like to have you guys and lady drive up towards Toronto to make a pickup for me and bring it back. He looks at Arthur and says, this is kind of over and above some of the normal stuff you do for us and do for me. So I would like to see if the rest of you could do me this favor, take a drive up to St. Catharines and pick up this delivery and bring it back for me. And he kind of stops and leans back a little bit in his chair.
Oh, yeah, of course, boss. Yeah,
Mr. Messina, of course. We don't mind. I mean, that's a lot of us to go just pick something up. Are you expecting trouble?
No. He raises his hand, spreads his hands out, and says, "No. No trouble expected. as you all know, I'm a bit newer to this seat. A few of you in here have had more experience with Salso and did a lot of work with him before. He started building the relationship with our associates in Toronto, and I want to expand that and build on that relationship.
Oh yeah, and
Obviously-
you're doing a great job, boss. No doubt you will.
Him and Vinny both
Leonard
kind of
just
look
kind
at
of
you.
gives him the side eye, like what the
Exactly. And they kind of shake their head. Yeah, we are. But they kind of give you a bit of a side, give Franky a bit of a side eye. So I guess there's two facets to this. So it is a bit of a bigger shipment to bring back than Arthur normally just goes out on himself to do. So a few extra hands to go out and to bring that back. Some of the stuff, Addie, you can have for the black bottom. So obviously, from that statement, I think most of you know kind of what kind of delivery that I'm hinting at here.
Oh, so generous, Mr. Messina. Thank you.
But also, this is an opportunity for all of you to help us build this relationship with our associates in Toronto, whether that means more business, more personal connections for yourselves. I'm always happy to help facilitate that, but also to help build a stronger relationship with you and me. And when he says that, he kind of looks over to Franky and Addie, not menacingly, not whatever, but
squinting.
but just as we said, as we were playing it out, you guys had a lot more history with the old team than the new team. He likes you. He's bringing you into jobs. Obviously, he likes Addie because everybody goes over to the Black Bottom Passage all the time, and she is a very endearing person. But also, he kind of wants to help build that relationship too. Can I trust you guys? If I give you guys a bit, will you help me a bit? Kind of thing. So that's kind of the look you get from him when he looks over to you two.
Okay.
Leonard speaks up and he says, I mean no disrespect, Mr. Messina. I am but a simple medium. I'm not quite sure. I feel like I'm a little bit out of my depth here. We have a fairly good relationship. We've had a number of successful readings. I'd like to think just dabble in the spiritual realm, but this seems like something that I don't know.
So when you say that, Messina looks over to his tarot deck and says, I've quite enjoyed the readings you've given me in the past. Far be it
he adjusts his coat, like, oh yeah, okay, yep.
Far be it from me to completely turn my back or try to do things that go against what Holy Mother Church says, and him and Vinny both give themselves a quick cross as they look back at the Virgin Mary painting. But Messina says, you do know my interest in things of this nature, and with bringing you in, I wanted you to also do something for me. Give us a reading before we set out to see what we can expect. And when he says that, kind of Vinny just kind of grunts and shakes his head like, it's all bunch of hope. You can hear under his breath, it's a whole bunch of nothing, whatever. But then, Messina sticks up his hand and Vinny stops talking. I'd like to get a reading from you, Leonard, before, if you all decide to go ahead with this. And I think with your talent, I was hoping that, a few jobs on your end, you'll be able to set yourself up to maybe have a higher level of clientele for your readings. You've done quite well by me, and I know quite a few people who are starting to take an interest in these kinds of things.
I certainly appreciate the your thought in the matter to potentially open things up for me for that'll be great. I would be happy to do that.
And he also says, when he says that, and he goes, yeah, it is quite a bit coming back. So I did need an extra set of hands also. So, so obviously you were inflating yourself up a bit. He was trying to bring you back down a little bit, not a whole bunch, right? But just a little bit. Yeah. There's a whole shitload of boxes. We need an extra set of hands, but also in a friendly way, right? He's not completely trying to rupture your balloon.
Addie's like, oh, Leonard, those girls will still be there. Just come with us. They'll be there later. They're always there.
I don't feel like they'll be there. It's fine. As you say, they'll be some young woman will be there when we get back.
Right.
Kevin, what does Pietro look like besides his nice suit?
He's not Franky or Vinny sized, right? He's not good. We did Franky. We did say you're a pretty big brawler, right? You're not a.
Oh yeah, he's a big guy.
Okay. I'm trying to think. So this is going to sound really bad, right? Because we're leaning on all the tropes and all the real life examples, but
just lean it.
Let's say he looks like
just lean.
He looks like Michael Corleone in like Godfather 2, right? And so he's a very suave looking, maybe a little bit bigger, right? He's not a little bit bulkier, but he's not like Vinny or Franky sized. He's a very well dressed, very attractive, a little bit bigger, but yeah, he doesn't look like a tavern brawler or street thug or anything like that. He does look a bit more, clean and pressed than a stereotypical 1920s mob boss would.
Okay.
So he kind of looks around to all of you and trying to take in kind of what everybody's appearance is. I think Addie seemed to be a bit appreciative of the offer.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, she's on board. She's like, absolutely.
Okay. And then Leonard looked like he was it. So he was very puffed up, and then maybe brought just a little bit of the helium out. But we said you have that relationship with him before. How do Franky, Arthur, and Lorenzo? How are they taking the request for some help, or not help? Request for a job offer.
Oh yeah, I mean Franky, he's got like the scally cap in his lap because like he wouldn't dare wear it inside in front of the boss, but he's got that, and he's like super excited right now. Like this is gonna be the thing that gets me moved up. Like, so oh yeah, he's all in, 100%.
So I think also
Arthur.
I'm sorry, real quick before John and Kirk go. So I tried to say it before to Arthur. So Messina was kind of saying to Arthur, look, yeah, you usually do jobs. This is kind of your area, but this is a make more connections and there's more stuff to bring back. So he kind of wanted to get that across to you that this wasn't a slight at you or, sidelining you or anything. It's just, okay, this is a whole shitload more. And also we want to make some more connections with them. So that I wanted to make sure that vibe came across to Arthur from Messina.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, Arthur would already be like pretty excited about it because he has a couple connections up in Canada already. So he's just excited to get a little bit more into the thick of things. So more people equals more opportunities to have things for other people. So.
And so Messina says to Arthur, look, not far be it from me to tell you your business, but Vinny and I think we may be adding a few different routes into some back roads maybe that you didn't have on your list before. So hopefully this can add it to your repertoire of ways to get in and get out. So you can also add that to anything on top of that.
Yeah, of course, boss. Things are a little harder these days. So, the more options you have, the better it is.
Absolutely. So then Pietro kind of looks over to Lorenzo.
Well, I guess I'm just a little confused as to why you would want me to go on a job to lift and move boxes, unless, of course, you're just overly concerned about the bill of lading being handled appropriately, in which case I'd be happy to do so. I know it's kind of a longer trip than usual, so I just don't know how much help I would be with the physical aspects of this.
So we've had working relationships with Toronto in the past.
Right.
As I
Yes,
said,
I've got
the old
all.
boss-
Yeah.
The old boss was trying to build them up. I want you to go to kind of be the face and voice of building that relationship.
Oh
And
no.
he kind of looks, well, okay. So when he says that, when he says face and voice, he kind of looks sideways at kind of Franky, like, we can't have him kind of being the I need someone to represent me to the our Toronto associates.
I guess I'll
for introductions and.
Oh, okay. I'm not accustomed to that level of responsibility, but I'll do my very best. This feels an awful lot like an offer that I can't refuse.
He'll look. Messina will look over to Arthur and say, Artie, can you whip up some kind of bill of lading or something so Squints can have some paper to have people check off and sign off?"
You don't have it already? That's disturbing. You're just setting up a shipment and delivery and you don't have a bill of lading. I'll do it. I'll take care of it. I'll do it.
Lorenzo, you know what kind of business we're in. Sometimes there are 18 boxes and 18 boxes are handed over. Sometimes there's 10 boxes and none get handed over. It's
Exactly. And I need to make those extra 2 boxes disappear. I'm very good at it.
I wouldn't say this is an offer you couldn't refuse, but I think it would help you out in maybe getting some more work or work with more influential new customers, and it will also help us and help me specifically. So that's why I'm asking.
Okay, I understand, Mr. Messina. It will be done. I will see it done, sir.
Thank you. And then he'll look to Arthur again and say, whether you make that bill of lading or Lorenzo does, I'll leave it up to you two. So what you're going to be doing is driving up with a truck to St. Catharines, which is about an hour outside of Buffalo and about an hour from Toronto. So kind of splitting the difference. You're going to go up and pick up a truckload of whiskey, not to be too stereotypical, right? You're going to Canada to get whiskey during Prohibition.
Just lean in.
And I guess you could tell by the name of what we gave it to. So it was kind of a giveaway of what. So there's going to be a shipment from our Toronto associates of some whiskey. There'll be a box or two, Addie, that you can take back and have at the bar. I'm told it is actually very good. So I'll let you pass judgment on whether it was good or not.
Ooh, much obliged, Mr. Messina. You're being so nice to me.
Oh, how would he play that? So he would give you kind of a sly smile. He would just give you a sly smile. Not very overly, not really creepy, but also not very shy. Just, a
little bit of a smirk.
Yeah, exactly. He's probably talked to you before. He's probably had a few drinks with you in the bar. He's not straight laced, right? He's a mob boss, but he also doesn't seem to be kind of the skeevy kind of guy either. So he does give you like a very charming smile, not a greasy smile or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a bit appreciative, right? You're being nice and flirting with him, so he appreciates that.
Charismatic. So charismatic. Jealous.
Squints is mumbling that under his breath, right?
I don't don't have that kind of charisma.
So that was one of the things I
Squinty,
forgot.
you're my best friend now.
Yes. Okay.
So Jesse, I think I kind of blew that when we were talking about life shapers and bonds and stuff. I think we kind of blew by that on the rolls, right? Because it came out that you had more of a connection with the old crew than the new crew. That was kind of what I was looking for. If you were okay.
Yep.
I kind of got caught up in that and forgot about that. So yeah. So I want you guys, there'll be a truck for you guys to drive up to St. Catharines, take on these boxes of whiskey and just bring them back. It's kind of afternoon on a day. What day would we say that is? Okay, so it's December 14th, 1923. So we'll figure out what actual day that is. Hopefully it's not a Sunday, because then he'd be in trouble because he's not in church. 14th,
Lots of punishments for not being in church on Sunday back in 1920.
Oh, it's a Friday. Okay, that's good. So that's a
There you
Friday.
go.
So it's early enough today. If you would all want to do that today, and then Vinny kind of taps him on the shoulder and leans down, and you kind of hear him say, "No, the handoff is supposed to be today, so they have to go up today and do it. It'll be a bit closer to after dark, so maybe around 7 or 8 o'clock, but they kind of have to go today." So Vinny stands back up, and Messina says, "Okay, well, Vinny's just told me that you don't have an option. You have to go today. So maybe that's the offer you can't refuse on what day it is, but it'll have to be later tonight for the pickup."
Okay. It's fine by me.
Arthur, I'll make sure a truck's provided so you won't have to purloin a truck. But so there'll be one provided.
Appreciate it, boss.
I guess I'll have to have one of my bartenders just, keep an eye on things while I'm gone. It's all right. We need to come up with a name for the random bartender. Louie
Louis the bartender.
Oh, there you go.
Louis the bartender. I like it.
Cool. I'll put that on there so I don't forget. I'll write that down also.
It's going to be a lot of overtime. I don't know if it's fine.
So
You can do
Messina
your paperwork on the road, Lorenzo. Jeez.
All right.
So Messina will look over and he'll give stereotypical Italian hand gesture. "Oh, with this overtime, Lorenzo, don't worry about it. This job.
All right.
We'll be able
Okay.
to-" And remember, Lorenzo, you get some of that overtime too. It's not all just going out to everyone else.
Well, not as much as you know what? It's fine. I'll take care of it. I always do.
We could be making more, but we'll talk about
No,
that later.
that's definitely not what's happening here, Mr. Messina or Vinny.
Okay. So he'll then look over to Leonard and say, "Don't know
I
if
look around.
him and Vinny are staring at you." So he said, "I don't know how much of the rest of you put any faith in this, but it's something that I've been researching and I've become accustomed to having, and have been quite interested in it. So, if Leonard, if you would want to do a reading for us before you guys head off, and then Vinny kind of grumbles. You hear Vinny grumble and cross himself again, and Pietro will say to everyone else, if none of you want to be here for the reading, that's fine. You guys can all meet back up at the bar. But I would like Leonard just to give a quick reading before you guys head out."
Of course, I wouldn't. And he reaches into his pocket and pulls out his deck of tarot cards, and he starts with the flourish, like he gives him a big shuffle, and then like starts to to spin him, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, right. Oh yeah, nope, no, we're not doing that right now. That's not what this is." Kind of collects himself and gives a shuffle and splays them out And he says, would you like me to draw, or would you like to draw the cards yourself?
So before he does that, he looks around to everyone else and just says, you guys are you all going to stay for the reading? Or he said, it's up to you if you would want to stay or not. And then Vinny starts walking to the door and he says, no, Vinny, you have to stay. And Vinny kind of comes back.
I enjoy watching this whenever it's done, so I'll stay, of course.
Yeah, Franky will just kind of give a shrug.
Oh, I kind of want to see what's going to happen.
Arthur's always excited about things like this, stuff that he doesn't really know about. So he's just kind of like, ooh, exciting.
So how are we going to do this, John? Are we going to do it as rolls?
I shuffled and I pulled 3 cards.
Okay, you did. Okay, cool.
When I left, I went to go grab a tarot deck.
Oh, I did see you go grab them. Okay, I gotcha. So Messina says, why don't you pull the cards?
Okay. He puts the cards all back together, gives them one more shuffle, and puts the deck on the table between us, and then draws and flips the first card. And it is a Page of Swords reversed. So he looks down and then he looks up, like his eyes flick up to Messina, and then looks back down at the card. Then he says, I guess before he would have said, we'll do a simple reading. We'll do past, present, future. Then he flips the first card. The first card's past. So the Page of Swords reversed is unfortunate circumstances and vulnerability in the face of opposing forces. And so, so he says that, and he looks up and he says, well, this makes sense. You've recently been promoted, as it were, acquired a new position. At the time, who could have known if that would have worked out? I know that situations within your organization are sometimes less than amenable. So this is, I feel like, an accurate representation. And he
holds up his hand before you go on and says, I don't know if that is a feeling or the view that is given off. I understand where you're coming from. Hopefully I've been giving and understanding to all of you since the change early in the year when our dear Salso died. But not to second guess your reading. But I would also keep an eye on this not affecting me, but maybe affecting you. And when he says you, he means all of you. So he's kind of throwing it back on, yeah, it's probably, it's my reading, right? Mm-hmm. You're doing the tarot, but it may be worth you guys also keeping an eye out for, unfortunate circumstances and adversaries, things like that.
And he acknowledges it and kind of waves a hand over the card. He says, well, but this represents the past. This next card, and he touches the top of the deck, is our present. And he, splays his hands out, and then he flips the card over, and it's also reversed. And it's a 9 of Cups. So 9 of Cups reversed. 9 of Cups reversed. Here we go. I don't know if he says this. An absent of upright qualities. He does say, well, I mean, this may not entirely be, well, it's probably not related to you per se, but the nature of people in general is we supply a product that people are interested in. It's self-indulgent behavior. It's not of you, of course, but of people who wish to drink liquor in this uncertain time. I'm sure this is probably fine.
You said absent of upright qualities, right?
Absent of, I don't know that he would say that out loud, but he
Yeah,
does
but
say
that's what I just wanted
Yeah.
to type that down to make sure. Okay.
yeah.
So he kind of gives you a look because obviously if he has a very fancy tarot deck, he kind of knows what those meanings are too, right?
Mhm.
So he's hearing your interpretation, but I think he kind of knows what 9 of Cups reversed means. So he just kind of gives you a look, and I didn't want to cut you off, John, because I wanted you to go on, but he's kind of cutting you off to go on.
Right,
to
no,
the
that's fine,
future.
that's fine.
Yeah.
Like dueling mediums.
Coming to Fox next.
And then his tarot cards jump off the desk and impale John in the head.
and he says, well, we are going to pick up a shipment for the Black Bottom. So this again, I feel like this makes sense in our current version of what's happening here. And then perhaps the most important card, and again, he sort of lightly pats the top of the deck, is our future. And what may come of this endeavor. And he flips the card over, and it's the Fool reversed.
So all this reversing, like I said, I don't know tarot very well, but I'm assuming all reverse probably isn't what you would normally expect.
Reverse is generally bad, like bad, quote unquote bad.
Yeah.
And he looks at the card, and then he looks up, and his shoulders kind of sag, and he sighs a little bit.
Is it bad?
It is. The cards tell us a story. Whether they are good or bad remains to be seen. It is a potential outcome for the future. One thread, if you will. And he closes his eyes and he takes a deep breath and he says, the future. So this in this orientation could perhaps mean a certain amount of carelessness, indecision, perhaps, or a lack of control, perhaps. Things that may be things that may occur that are outside of our current understanding, perhaps.
So is that
Lenny's gonna lean? Franky will lean over and go, Lenny, you better watch what's coming out of your mouth. That's not sounding really good.
Oh, you don't think there's going to be anything dangerous happening, do you?
These and he like touches all of the cards. These are just potential threads. Things are
Put the threads back in the deck. This sounds terrible.
I mean, they could be interpreted that way, but perhaps a lack of control insofar as we need to go tonight. That is not a thing that we have any control over. The meeting, the operation must be concluded tonight. So as
Vinny
you can
shaking
see,
his head in the background, you can see Vinny shaking his head.
we have no control over this aspect of the operation. So you see, the card is not wrong, and it is not necessarily bad, but it is uncertain.
So Messina will slap his, clap his hands together like really loud. I don't want to do that and make a loud noise, but
Thank you. It would startle me for sure.
you jump out of your seat. So past, present, and future, as Mr. Walcott said, the future is the most important. And no matter what his reading was, and it was a good reading, and he kind of looks at you and shakes his head, it was a good reading. That's why I have all of you here, because that's just a tarot deck, and you guys are going to go out, and lady are going to go out and actually do the job. So I do enjoy Mr. Walcott's reading, and I do enjoy this kind of thing, but it all comes down to boots on the ground, not cards in a hand. So you can see he's not upset by the reading, right? He knows tarot. He knows what the reading means. He kind of liked your finagling of what the reading was, because he kind of knows what each of those. So he appreciated your reading of the cards drawn. So he's you didn't give him a bad reading, and he's shaking, going, "Okay, I have to call this off because now that's bad news," kind of thing. But you can tell he does appreciate the shaping you gave to the reading. So he does get a bit of a kick out of that.
Well, right. I got to try to
also
spin it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
yeah. And it's not any of his like family, so if we all die, it's not anything too bad on him then.
So just to set everybody's mind at ease, Pietro says he opens his desk drawer and pulls out. Would it be brandy? Would brandy be a Christmassy kind of drink?
Yeah,
I'm sure it's like an all the time kind of drink, right? He wasn't going to give you eggnog. He just wanted to give you guys something.
Oh, is that a nice it's blackberry brandy? I've seen that drink.
So he pulls out a very nice fancy bottle of brandy from his desk, hands it to Vinny. Vinny walks over to Addie and hands it to Addie. And Messina says, go ahead back over to the bar, have a slug or two before you head up, or before you head out. Not too many. I'm not going to make assumptions of who's going to drive, but just make sure whoever's driving has one less slug than the rest of you before you head out. It'll warm you up before you go out into the night.
Okay, Mr. Messina, we'll do that. And I'll make sure they don't drink too much.
And Vinny kind of leans down to you, Addie, and just says, whatever's left in the bottle you can keep. So it's up to you how big the shots you want to give him are. He kind of chuckles and backs up.
She gives him a wink.
Oh. Cool. So so Messina stands up and says, I'll have Vinny bring the truck around to the back of the Black Bottom. It'll be gassed up and ready for you to go. But as I said, if you can try to be at the meeting site by, would we say 7 or 8? That would be the best. And I will see you all either later tonight or tomorrow morning when you guys are done. And
as soon as the boss stands up, Franky is like on his feet with like his cap held to his chest. And he's like, yeah, right away, boss. We'll get there in no time. We'll be there by 6. Ain't that right, Artie?
And Vinny shouts over, no, don't get there by 6. The delivery's between 7 and 8.
We'll make it a good time, boss. Don't you worry, none.
But
we'll get there right on time. We'll be there right at 7. Or 8, whichever one you want.
Franky, but stick to the time. And then he looks over to Lorenzo and says, make sure they stick to the time.
Lorenzo looks around like very unsure and nervous, like, oh, okay, I'll do my very best.
I stand and like look down at the reading again before shuffling the cards together and sliding them back into my pocket with a little bit of consternation. I don't know if anybody catches the look, but like he's like, this is not great.
John, to me, that was a great. Me as the person running the game, that reading couldn't have gone any better. So I'm quite happy.
I mean, I don't know how much stock Leonard actually puts in it, right? Like he knows enough about it, right? That there, are certain happenstances, you could read whatever you want to read into it, right? So like some things do line up sometimes or whatever, but a lot of times he's just cold reading people, like in a psychic sense, right? Because we're coming, spiritualism's still a thing, but kind of like on the down slope of stuff. Like the Fox sisters have, said that by this point, like 1880, like, no, we made it up. And then they're like, nah, psych, we didn't make it up. So like it's a thing that's in the zeitgeist, but still like it just seems bad whether you put stock in it or not. Like, oh, I don't love that.
Cool. So Vinny opens the door waiting for everybody to file out, and then if you guys look back, all you see is Messina's sitting back down at his desk. He's looking at a piece of paper or something on the desk, not giving you guys a second look as you're going out. But he does shout, Vinny, make sure they take their Christmas baskets with them. So then Vinny grabs them and then hands them all out to you as you're going down the steps. And I'm assuming you guys are going to go then. Well, I won't assume anything. So you're going back down the steps out of the deli.
So So, do we want to have a little bit of juice before we hit the road? And she kind of like
Shakes the bottle.
Mhm.
I think that would be a wonderful idea. At least one.
Of course.
So
Pour you
go ahead,
one.
Leslie. Yeah. One for you, one for me. So unless anybody wants to do anything
Two
specific,
for you, two for me.
let's have us go out with. Does anybody want to do anything specific before? Because we'll end it right here. But I do want to just end it with something. So unless
I
anybody
think
wants
Arthur. This is small throwaway thing, but I just sticking with my character. I think as they're going downstairs and heading out the door, I think Arthur would go by Martha and be like, "Martha, what'd you think about those knit needles, huh? Good steel, huh?"
and you hear her grumbling again. So as she was before, but there's no customers keeping her busy. She just grumbles at you under her breath. And then as you're walking by, she slips a biscotti in your pocket. I was trying to think of something Italian. That was,
Nice.
yeah, biscotti works right there. So
Yeah,
she'll
yeah.
slip
So
one
like
into
he
your
doesn't
pocket.
notice it. Yeah, he doesn't like notice it right away, and then he kind of like feels something in his pocket, and he takes it out, and he just before he goes out the door, he goes, "Ah, mother, I knew you were always sweet on me, you old bird."
And she just waves her rag at you, you know, trying to get you out the door, but does, you know, smiling at you. Okay, so if no one else wants to do anything, so let's go out on. You guys go back to the Black Bottom Passage. Addie's pouring everybody drinks. You're raising the drinks up, you know, salute, drink, and you hear a big bang outside, and that's just the backfire of the truck as it's pulling up to the back of Vinny's delivering the truck for you guys to drive. And right when you guys are taking a drink, you just hear a big loud boom, but it is kind of the backfire from the truck.
Oh boy.
Oh my.
It should be said that Lorenzo is not having a drink. He's having his customary seltzer water with a splash of cranberry because he doesn't drink.
So that extra
Just a
shot
splash, though.
could be split up,
Just
or
enough to keep you regular.
adding in the bottle, right? Yeah. So,
Yeah.
cool.
Amazing.
So we'll leave that there. You guys having a swig before you head out into the night.
That's not foreshadowy at all.
It was your tarot deck reading it did it, John. Don't blame me for the backfiring truck.
Right?
Everything was going to be rainbow and sunshine until you did the tarot card reading.
That went really good.
Good.
Oh
Because
my
deck.
god. Good
I was
stuff.
thinking how we were going to do that, whether we were just going to do a roll or you were actually going to do a read. But that worked out really good. I really
that's
liked
great.
that. Yeah, that was
Oh
good.
yeah.
I think you could find sites online where you can roll, or it might have been for the generic fantasy deck of things, where you can roll
deck of
dice
multiple
to
objects.
do
The
thing,
deck
yeah.
of several stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I just grabbed my cards. It was fine.
Cool. No, it's really good.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thanks for watching. We had a handful of people jump in. It's cool. Thank you. There's notes for all of the core stuff, along with Midwest Resin Geek. Kurt's wife, Tracy, does resin things, dice. So you could
Oh
order
my god,
dice.
John.
I have
Okay,
a
no.
couple of sets.
Let me say she does
Okay, you do
dice,
it.
she does keychains, wine stoppers,
Pops.
trays, fun stuff.
Pops for the phone. Is that what you call them? Is it? Hello,
No,
fellow
no, no,
kids.
she's not doing that anymore.
God, you're
No.
horrible at
Pop-
this,
oh,
John.
Pop Socket made her stop doing those because she called them something stupid. So yeah, they're stupid. Fuck Pocket Socket.
Fuck this. Just hold your phone like a real person.
Phones are too damn big.
Oh my god.
All right. Ratings or reviews on iTunes, whatever your podcatcher of choice is, super helpful. Probably, I guess. I don't know. Nobody does it, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, if there's a Patreon up, if you want to throw some money, that's cool. If not, again, whatever. Spikecast, you get it. Do the same thing every time.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
We're gonna and then do the off? Is that what's happening?
Sure.
There? All right, fuck it.
Yeah. Okay.
We out.